Economic collapses can occur for a variety of reasons, but they all share a common outcome: devastating consequences for individuals, businesses, and communities. The effects of an economic collapse can be felt for years, and sometimes decades, afterwards. One of the primary causes of an economic collapse is an unsustainable economic bubble. This occurs when an asset or a sector of the economy experiences rapid growth and becomes overvalued. Eventually, this bubble bursts, causing prices to plummet and leaving investors with significant losses. This was seen in the dot-com bubble of the late 1990s and the housing bubble that led to the financial crisis of 2008. Another cause of an economic collapse is an unexpected shock to the economy. This can come in many forms, such as a natural disaster, a terrorist attack, or a global pandemic. These shocks can disrupt supply chains, decrease consumer demand, and lead to widespread unemployment. Regardless of the cause, economic collapses have devastating effects on individuals and families. Jobs are lost, homes are foreclosed upon, and businesses go bankrupt. The ripple effects of an economic collapse can be felt across entire communities, as local businesses struggle to survive and tax revenues decrease. However, it is important to remember that economic collapses are not inevitable. Policies and regulations can be put in place to prevent economic bubbles from forming and to mitigate the effects of unexpected shocks. Governments can invest in infrastructure and education to create jobs and promote economic growth. And individuals can be vigilant about their own personal finances, saving for emergencies and avoiding risky investments. One example of a country that experienced an economic collapse is Argentina. In the early 2000s, Argentina was facing a severe economic crisis due to a combination of factors including high levels of government debt, a devalued currency, and an unsustainable fiscal policy. The crisis began in 1999, when the Argentine government pegged the value of its currency, the peso, to the US dollar at a fixed exchange rate. The fixed exchange rate made Argentine exports more expensive and less competitive in global markets. At the same time, the government continued to spend beyond its means, taking on more debt and relying on borrowing to fund its operations. By 2001, the country was in a full-blown crisis, with widespread protests, bank runs, and political unrest. In December 2001, the government abandoned the fixed exchange rate and allowed the peso to float freely on the market. This led to a significant devaluation of the currency and caused many Argentines to lose their savings overnight. The crisis led to widespread poverty and unemployment, as businesses closed and foreign investment dried up. To address the crisis, the Argentine government implemented a series of policies aimed at reducing government spending, increasing tax revenue, and promoting economic growth. These policies included debt restructuring, tax reforms, and investment in public infrastructure. Over time, the country's economy began to recover, and by 2005, Argentina had achieved a GDP growth rate of over 9%. While Argentina's economic collapse had devastating consequences for many of its citizens, the country's recovery demonstrates that it is possible to bounce back from even the most severe economic crises. However, it also serves as a reminder of the importance of sound fiscal policy, responsible government spending, and a competitive and diversified economy. Economic collapses can also be caused by systemic failures within the financial industry. For example, the financial crisis of 2008 was largely a result of risky lending practices and the widespread use of complex financial instruments that were not properly understood by investors or regulators. The failure of major financial institutions such as Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns had a cascading effect on the entire financial system and led to a global recession. Another factor that can contribute to economic collapse is income inequality. When a small portion of the population holds a disproportionate amount of wealth, it can lead to an unsustainable economy. The wealthy tend to save their money rather than spend it, leading to decreased demand for goods and services. Additionally, low-income individuals and families may take on debt to maintain their standard of living, creating a debt bubble that can eventually burst. The consequences of an economic collapse can be devastating for vulnerable populations such as the elderly, people with disabilities, and those living in poverty. Access to healthcare, housing, and other essential services can become even more limited, and unemployment rates can skyrocket. The effects can last for years or even decades, making it difficult for individuals and communities to recover. Preventing economic collapses requires a multifaceted approach that addresses the underlying causes of economic instability. This can include increased regulation of the financial industry, investing in infrastructure and education, and promoting policies that reduce income inequality. It also requires individuals to take responsibility for their own financial well-being, such as saving for emergencies and avoiding risky investments. Economic collapses have far-reaching consequences that can impact individuals, businesses, and entire communities. While they can be caused by a variety of factors, they are not inevitable. By working together to address the root causes of economic instability, we can build a more resilient economy that benefits everyone. Hey there, thanks for tuning in to my video. If you enjoyed this content, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a moment to check out my other videos and subscribe to my channel. I've got a ton of great content waiting for you, and subscribing is the best way to stay up to date with my latest videos. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, hitting the like button would also be a huge help in supporting my channel. So, please consider checking out my other videos and subscribing to my channel to join our growing community. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.